Hi, it's Vernon again. In this video, we're going to talk honestly about what it means to stop being a soft woman and how to rebuild your life with strength, discipline, and real confidence. After all these years, one thing stands out. Too many women I've known, my mother, my wife, close friends, spent their best years being kind when they needed to be strong. They stayed quiet, not because they were weak, but because they thought being nice was the right thing to do. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about reclaiming what life may have taken from you: your voice, your fire, your strength. Softness without strength isn't safety, it's self-erasure. So if you're done feeling overlooked, done holding back, and ready to tap into the strong woman mindset, stay with me. I'm going to walk you through how to stop being soft and start living with clarity, courage, and conviction. If this message speaks to you, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with another woman who needs this reminder. Let's take a closer look at the first shift every strong woman must make, and it might not be what you expect. 1. You don't need to be liked by everyone. There's a quiet cost to being liked by everyone, and it's a price too many women pay with their peace. I think about my mother when I say this, a woman of grace and generosity, deeply respected in our small community and beloved by almost everyone who crossed her path. But as I got older, I saw something she never said out loud. She was tired, not from hard work, she could handle that, but from constantly making herself smaller, quieter, softer, to avoid disappointing others. She never said no without guilt. She smiled through discomfort. She gave even when her own cup was nearly empty. And deep down, I believe she feared being seen as selfish more than she feared being exhausted. The Greek philosopher Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, real growth often demands that we let go of how we're perceived. Wanting to be liked is human, but needing to be liked, that's a trap. One that trades authenticity for acceptance. And slowly, it erodes your ability to live life on your own terms. When a woman shapes her decisions around others' comfort, she loses clarity. She forgets what she actually wants. She hesitates, second guesses, and eventually silences the voice inside her that once knew what was right. The truth is, not everyone will understand you, not everyone will agree with you, and not everyone will like you. That's not a failure, it's freedom. Your job isn't to please the room. Your job is to show up with integrity. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you begin to be respected by the right ones, including yourself. So I'll ask you this gently but directly. Where in your life are you still seeking approval? And more importantly, what could you do if you stopped? Take a moment, write it down, reflect, then share it in the comments. Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to hear. And now, let's talk about something many people misunderstand: the real meaning of discipline and why it's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself.
Truth 2. Discipline is not restriction, it's freedom. Discipline has long been misunderstood. For many, the word brings up images of limitation, rules, or something external imposed upon you. But in truth, when discipline is chosen, not forced, it becomes the foundation of real freedom. To be disciplined is to be in relationship with yourself. It's not about punishment, it's about priorities. It's about choosing what matters most and then proving it with your daily actions. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That truth applies deeply to women too, because when your days are ruled by impulse, distraction, or the constant needs of others, you don't feel free, you feel fragmented. Discipline is what holds you together when motivation fades. It's the steady hand that picks you up on the days when your emotions try to take the lead. And it's what helps you stay aligned with your higher self, the woman you say you want to become. You see, the beauty of discipline isn't in doing big, flashy things. It's in the quiet acts no one claps for. Waking up on time, honoring your boundaries, keeping your word to yourself. These small, repeated choices create trust, not with others, but within. Because when you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect push. You begin. You follow through. You grow. And that's freedom. So I ask you, what would change if you became a woman who consistently did what she said she would do, especially when no one was watching? That's not restriction, that's power in its purest form. Take a quiet moment to think about what discipline really means to you, not as a rule, but as a rhythm. Let that guide your next small step forward. Discipline gives you structure, a rhythm that keeps you grounded. But structure alone isn't enough if your voice remains buried underneath old fears. So let's turn our attention to something even more powerful, the voice you've been silencing for far too long, and why it's time to bring it back.
Truth 3. Your voice is your power. Use it, even if it shakes. Imagine a grand piano in a silent room. Elegant, heavy, full of history. It holds within it 1,000 songs, but unless someone sits down and plays, the music stays locked inside. Your voice is no different. It may still be there, untouched, waiting, not because it's forgotten, but because somewhere along the way you were taught it was safer not to speak. For many women, silence becomes a survival strategy, not because they lack opinions or depth, but because the world taught them early. Don't be too loud. Don't be too much. Don't be difficult. So they lower their volume, suppress their instincts, and over time, they forget the sound of their own truth. But there's a difference between quiet strength and suppressed identity. Your voice is not decoration, it's direction. It's the way your soul steps into the world, with clarity, with dignity, with purpose. It sets the tone for how others treat you, and more importantly, how you treat yourself. You don't have to be loud to be heard, but you do have to be honest. And honesty often begins with discomfort, the tremble before the truth. Speaking up, especially after years of silence, isn't easy. It might feel unnatural at first, like walking after sitting too long.
But every time you use your voice, even in small ways, saying no without apology, asking for what you need, naming what you feel, you rebuild that bridge between who you are and how you show up. The philosopher Simone de Beauvoir once said, "Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now, without delay." And part of that change begins with using your voice as it is, where you are, today. So take a breath, reflect gently. Where in your life have you swallowed your words to keep the peace? And what might happen if you gave yourself permission to speak, even if your voice shakes a little? You don't need to roar to be powerful, but you do need to speak with truth, with care, and without waiting for permission. Because when your voice returns, something else must follow. The emotional strength to carry your life, not just when it's calm, but when it storms. Let's talk about what that strength really looks like.
Truth 4. Emotional strength means learning to say, "I'll handle it," to yourself first. Emotional strength isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's not about wearing a brave face for the sake of others. Real strength begins the moment you quietly tell yourself, "I'll handle it." Not because it's easy, but because you've decided to show up for yourself. There will always be noise around you. The hum of opinions, the chaos of expectations, the quiet pull of old doubts. Some days it's subtle. Other days it feels like a storm pressing against the windows of your mind. But emotional strength isn't the absence of those storms. It's the calm I in the center of them. To stay centered doesn't mean you ignore the waves. It means you learn how to float through them without losing your sense of direction. Emotional strength is not resistance to feeling. It's the capacity to feel deeply and still choose your response with grace. Some may call this detachment, but it's not about shutting down. It's about opening up inwardly first. About learning to hold space for your own pain, your own joy, your confusion, your courage, all at once, without asking the world to fix it for you. In that stillness, you become dependable to yourself. And from that place, life begins to feel less like something that happens to you, and more like something you can meet head-on, with clarity and compassion. It's the calm decision to pause before reacting. It's the choice to respond rather than explode. It's walking through disappointment without letting it reshape your identity. In a world that often rewards urgency and outrage, emotional strength is an act of resistance. It says, "I do not need to be ruled by my feelings, nor do I need to bury them. I can hold them, I can process them, and I can move forward with clarity." You don't owe the world constant composure, but you owe yourself the gift of presence, the ability to sit with your own fear, anger, grief, or doubt, and say, "I'm still here, and I'll find a way through this." The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the heart of emotional maturity. You stop waiting for life to be easy. You stop expecting others to soothe your storms. You learn to be your own anchor. This kind of strength doesn't shout. It doesn't need applause. It builds slowly,
In quiet mornings, hard conversations, moments of doubt where you choose to stay kind to yourself anyway. If you've ever had to be your own support system, you already know this strength. And if you're still learning how, that's okay too. Emotional resilience is not a finish line, it's a practice. So if this speaks to you, save this video. Not because it's perfect, but because there may come a day when you need this reminder again. When life hits hard and you forget how far you've come back to this. Let this message be a quiet hand on your shoulder, reminding you, you've handled more than you remember.
If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that softness and strength don't have to be enemies, but strength must lead. We've talked about letting go of the need to be liked, embracing discipline not as punishment, but as freedom, reclaiming your voice even when it trembles, and learning to hold your emotions without letting them hold you. Each of these truths is like a single flame, small on its own, but when brought together, they create a quiet fire that keeps you warm through the seasons of your life. And in that warmth, a woman remembers who she is, not someone chasing approval or waiting for the world to open a door, but someone who walks with steady steps, knowing the ground beneath her belongs to her too. Too often, we believe that growth is something loud, something visible, something that arrives in a dramatic moment. But the kind of growth we've explored today is quiet. It's deeply personal. It happens in choices no one else sees. The decision to speak honestly, to show up on hard days, to keep becoming, no matter your age. So if this conversation stirred something in you, don't let it pass. Save to rewatch this video when needed. Share it with a friend who might be carrying the same questions in her heart. And subscribe to the channel so that you can keep walking this journey with me, one quiet, powerful step at a time. Because you don't need to change who you are. You just need to return to who you were before the world told you to shrink. Your strength has always been there. Now it's time to live from it. And I'm Vernon. Thanks for watching my video.